US President Barack Obama has completed his Asian trip after an 8-day tour of the region. Obama left Beijing on Wednesday after a visit to the Badaling section of the Great Wall. After meeting South Korean President Lee Myung-bak on Thursday morning, he planned to visit US troops in South Korea before heading back to the United States. Seoul and Washington have clashed in the past over the US refusal to ratify a free trade agreement. Microsoft has been ordered by a Beijing court to stop selling versions of its Windows operating systems that include fonts designed by a Chinese technology company, Zhongyi Electronic. The products targeted were Chinese versions of the Microsoft operating systems Windows 98, 2000, 2003 and Windows XP. Zhongyi said its agreement with Microsoft was only applicable to Windows 95, and the court ruling cited a violation of licensing agreements. Though Microsoft said it will appeal the ruling, analysts say bigger problems remain for the software giant. In August, a Chinese court jailed 4 people for spreading their bootleg versions of Windows XP, and research firm IDC estimates around 80% of software sold in China last year was pirated. China says it wants expanded access to North Korean ports to help a revitalization scheme for its northeastern province of Jilin. Provincial Governor Han Chang-fu says China is in talks about using North Korea's ports to ship goods for the new Changchun-Jilin-Tumen pilot economic development zone. China already uses some North Korean ports to handle trade for its northeastern provinces. Trade between Jilin and North Korea reached nearly $250 million last year. Beijing still provides some energy and food aid to the north, fearing that if it collapses, it could destabilize large parts of northeastern China, home to a large ethnic Korean population. More than half the total number of deaths from H1N1 flu seen on the Chinese mainland occurred last week. China's Ministry of Health revealed almost 90% of all flu cases reported in that period were of the H1N1 strain, a rise of around 3% from the previous week. The mainland reported just under 11,000 cases of H1N1 flu from November 9th to 15th, with 28 deaths. This brings the total so far this year to almost 70,000 cases on the mainland, with 53 deaths in total. The ministry advised the public to stay warm, wash hands frequently and keep rooms ventilated. It also said around 16.6 million people had been vaccinated. China Mobile, the world's largest mobile carrier, says capital spending over the next few years will take a hit due to slower growth and lower purchase prices. The company's capital expenditure in 2009 will fall slightly to $19.6 billion from $20 billion in 2008. Volume growth in China Mobile's voice service slipped to around 20% from 30 to 40% last year. The company also plans to reduce power consumption by 20% per user by 2012 as part of a broader industry drive to create a more sustainable global mobile industry. Taiwan plans to recruit Chinese mainland college students to study in graduate schools by the end of next June. Universities and institutions in Taiwan will recognise mainland academic qualifications, but only to students from the top 41 universities on the mainland. Taiwan's Minister of Education, Wu Qingche, said mainland students will be charged more than Taiwanese ones. She added the island had based its decision on the US system, which charges more for out-of-state students. Wu said that public schools receive a lot of funding from the Taiwan government each year, so Taiwanese should take preference during the admissions process. Bahrain's Olympic 1500-metre champion Rashid Ramza has been stripped of his gold medal after testing positive for doping at the 2008 Beijing Games. Bahrain's first Olympic champion was one of 5 athletes who tested positive in April for Sera, a third generation of the endurance-enhancing hormone EPO. The 29-year-old faces a 2-year ban but is expected to appeal. Italy's David Rebellan had his Olympic cycling road race silver medal taken away after a positive test. Now, 3 non-medal winners were also caught using Sera in retesting of Beijing samples. It brings to 14 the number of athletes disqualified by the IOC for doping at the Beijing Games. And that's the BON headlines for now, but we'll be back with more news after this.